see anybody teach, but I like to do it. So, all right, well, spread out. Any partners? 1, 2. Oh no, we gotta do that again, guys. We clap all 2. 1, 2. Just do some hand fighting. You're pummeling. It's not just basic over, under, over, under, over, under. Actually do some hand fighting. I want you guys to actively engage one another. Wrist control, collar ties, underhooks, overhooks, all that fun stuff. Hi, my name is Elvis Smith. I'm a brown belt at Paragon Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Kickboxing. I think the biggest misconception that people have about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is that it is MMA. It is an art that kind of encompasses a lot of things with grappling, and there's a lot of ways you can finish people. It's used very often in MMA, but it's not so centered on striking. Not a lot of striking at all. Depending on the style that you use, there's no striking. Sport Jiu-Jitsu has none of that. So I would say the biggest misconception is that we're in here beating each other's brains in and knocking each other unconscious. I think that Jiu-Jitsu is for anyone that wants to challenge themselves or step outside of their comfort zone. It's definitely you can choose your training partners wisely. I've seen people train from in their 80s and 90s down to their 60s, 50s, stuff like that. Kids do it all the way up to grandparents. I think for people who have hit a plateau in Jiu-Jitsu, the best thing they can do is pick a technique or a style that they want to emulate and practice that style. If you feel like you're peaking in Jiu-Jitsu, it's probably because you're doing the same things over and over again and they're not working for you. So just like with your weight training or your conditioning or anything in life, if you're hitting a plateau, you've got to change things up. So evaluate what you're doing and then go back to the drawing board and find an area you can work on. I think a lot of people quit Jiu-Jitsu because, one, it takes a long time to get promoted, and when they achieve that first promotion, like blue belt, it takes a year or 2 to get there, they feel like they've kind of hit that first mark, that first goal that they set for themselves. Also, it's maybe they don't enjoy it as much after a while because it is difficult, it's very challenging, and especially when you're first starting, you tend to lose a lot of grappling matches, you get choked out, you get submitted, things like that. And some people step up to the plate and they want to keep challenging themselves to get better, and other people just want to hang in there and survive long enough so that they can attain a rank, so that it kind of proves that they did something with Jiu-Jitsu. I would say the biggest benefits I've had from practicing Jiu-Jitsu is that it keeps me disciplined, keeps me focused, and just general fitness and confidence in myself. The community that I've met in Jiu-Jitsu has been a great benefit to me. As far as competing goes, some of the biggest benefits of competing is that it keeps my training very consistent. It gives me short-term goals to work towards, and it kind of pushes me to challenge myself a little bit outside of my local academy. I feel like the military is drawn to Jiu-Jitsu because of the structure and the community that you have in Jiu-Jitsu. So it's a brotherhood, sisterhood, similar to what you get in the military. We don't have a mission in Jiu-Jitsu like you do in the military, but you do have that camaraderie. You have that kind of thing that you get with men and women that when you're doing things difficult together, you kind of build a bond with one another that you really don't get anywhere else. And in Jiu-Jitsu, it's very similar to the military in that way. My favorite grappler of all time, that's tough. I like the kind, not the old school guys necessarily, but guys like Marcelo Garcia, the generation before this last crop. Cobrinha is amazing. Both the Mendes brothers are awesome. I got to give a shout out to Franginha, who's fantastic to watch as a competitor, as a coach. So tough question. I don't know if I have one single favorite, but there's a lot of different people that I appreciate their style and their contribution to the sport. So you guys some stuff, it might not make sense at first. You've been training for a little while, it might make more sense. Some of you are going to get it right away, okay? Because it's about guard recovery and it's about a weird position to get guard. So I'm going to use, I like to use. So sometimes you get to a point where the person's got the leg between the middle here and they start to come around the side, they start to try to pass you here. And we're in kind of this spot. So if you keep circling here, okay, you drop down here. You can lift this up right here, right? You still got something to work with here. You got this little hook here. You can get to this position also, just starting with side control. I start to open up some. Maybe I can't quite get there. I'm gonna kind of hook up, right? So the idea is I want to walk my legs this way and scoop under his body, like this, under his leg. You see how we hold the foot here and here? Now watch, I can lift this up and then put my foot here. Now extend and just take him over. Get up to my base. Now from here, we can just come right back. You go to double unders. You can stay here, come up on top, and try to pass here. You can just let it go here, kind of get to a safe position. Nice stretch, huh? That's eclectic. I like to smash some, but also like finesse game on bottom. I like to play open guard, but also like half guard. And I like being on top smashing, but also like agility passing. So I don't know, man. I just love jiu-jitsu. So one word, jiu-jitsu or grappling. I love that. Yeah, I love the technique, but you know, not just that. I definitely love the technical side. That probably intrigues me the most. But I like the grit and determination that you need to compete really well and you get those battles, the mental toughness required. Because there's like, to me, there's like two major elements to jiu-jitsu, and the technique is a big part of it. But you also have to have the mental toughness and the grittiness and you know, that fire to kind of like push. Because you're even as technical as you can be, there's going to be times where you get smashed. You got some big guy smashing his chest in your face, taking your breath away, and you got to like gut it out. You got to be tough and like hang in there until you find an opening. So there's the two sides of it. It's kind of that yin and yang thing. I think that law enforcement could definitely use some jiu-jitsu, grappling like this. At least blue belt, purple belt, it's even better. Someone who can, you know, it's interesting, just 6 months of jiu-jitsu for a police officer, you already become better at handling people in a, you know, physical altercation. Less likely to have to bash their head in with a baton or pull your weapon, use deadly force and stuff like that. So to me, like, if 6 months is good, 2 years is much better, and if you can get to a purple belt level, you should be fairly confident with most people on the street altercations that police officers run into. With a lot, like with wrestling too, and in boxing, you have to go do it. You have to spar one another. You have to grapple, and you know, we're fortunate in grappling that we can go full on with each other, like as hard as we want, and with minimal risk to injuries if they're experienced people. So you kind of get that as close to a real life scenario as you can get without actually hurting each other. So I think it greatly benefits someone who's in a profession where you could be attacked at any moment, or you have to subdue someone who's under the influence or maybe not in the best mental state. So yeah, of course, jiu-jitsu would help law enforcement tremendously.
My ears fucked up again. Both ears now. Like Dumbo here in a second.
You're like Justin?
He's still sexy, man. It's alright.
Dude, this first one is like just.
Wait, let me look at that. Look at that. Don't fuck with this guy, man.
Yeah, but it's not helping a whole lot.
I got some weight to drop. Yes, sir. Thank you. You guys done? Yeah. Good to see you.